dumpster Dems getting smacked across the face with the most obvious political advice of all time. According to a new center-left group's report, left-wing ideas have wrecked the Democrats' brand, and they've only grown with self-described white liberals. A real shocker, right? Most voters believe Democrats over-prioritize issues like protecting the rights of LGBTQ+ Americans and fighting climate change, while not caring about securing the border or lowering the rate of crime. And nowhere better is this illustrated than the beef between Riley Gaines and AOC. Gaines says America is being destroyed from within by AOC, Bernie, and Zoran the Destroyer. AOC sniped back, saying this: maybe if you channeled all this anger into swimming faster, you wouldn't have come in fifth. And now Gaines says, let's settle this beef with a battle of the wits.
I want to honestly challenge AOC to a debate. She can defend socialism. I will defend capitalism. She can defend removing God. I will defend embracing a biblical worldview. She can defend child sacrifice. I will defend the sanctity of life. Any of the radical, insane democratic policies and platform that they stand for, I will debate the opposite. I'm challenging AOC to adhere.
But here's what Gaines would be up against in a debate.
Was built by the Irish escaping famine, Italians fleeing fascism, Jews escaping Holocaust, Black Americans fleeing slavery and Jim Crow, Latinos seeking a better life, Native people standing for themselves, Asian Americans coming together in Queens, in Brooklyn, in the Bronx, in Manhattan, in Staten Island, in this country.
All right, so Dana, the fight between AOC and Riley Gaines, what does that represent?
Well, it's interesting on several levels, which is that one, women can fight in politics just as well as men in terms of debating, and I would love to see a debate on the merits, right? Because I do think people are a little too siloed. Like when Hannity hosted the Newsom-DeSantis debate, I couldn't wait to watch that. And I actually think people are hungry for this kind of thing. If you look at even podcast numbers now, people are wanting to listen to longer form conversations to actually hear these ideas. And it would be good if they would both sit down. I would hope that they would do that. Maybe we could make that happen. One of the things about this study is that we see it every few months, but the Democrats don't ever take advantage of it. Greg has talked about the awfuls, what is it?
Affluent white female liberals, awfuls. We said they were taking over the party. They did.
And one of the reasons is because that's where a lot of the energy and the money is now. Let me give you an example. Mackenzie Scott was married to Bezos, right? She has $20 billion with a B, to just spend on all of the left-wing groups that she wants. Soros, over 70 years, has spent $32 billion. She's done that in 5 years. Okay, so there is energy and money on that side of things, and where there is money, there is typically power. I would also point out today, however, that you do see changes. So Bill Gates, who created Microsoft, billionaire, today in the New York Times says, guys, no need to worry. Climate change is not going to be the end of the human race. It's okay. We should actually focus on things like poverty, disease, and look, I agree. But how long has it been? I've been doing those issues for a long time from a comms perspective, and this was always going to be the case, that climate change was going to be the end of the human race. And where did that idea come from? Where did that money come from? Who pushed that? And if you trace all of that back, you can see where the Democrats were paralyzed because they had to toe the line of the people that were funding the causes.
Gates, another one, Dana, where the X just takes the money and throws it to the communists. Am I right, Greg? You gotta have a prenup, gotta have that prenup.
That is not unusual. If you go onto Grok and you put in, like, who are the 20th richest women in like America, the majority are either daughters of billionaires or divorced from billionaires. Yeah. And you can see where they like, whether it is Apple, what's his face? Jobs' ex-wife, Lauren Powell, or Gates, or whatever. They're all spending that money on activism. I think we need a bicathlon with AOC and Gaines. Debate swim, debate, swim, and then a hot tub party at Kudlow's. I don't think AOC could keep up with her. But this, again, it reveals the hierarchy of grievances and how it turns women against women. AOC is not brave. She's throwing women, biological women, under the bus to gain some kind of virtue signal from men who pretend to be women. This is going to look so bad. And imagine what a better place the Democrats would be if they listened to the five. We have been talking about this forever. I'm beginning to think that maybe on this show from now on, we give the worst advice so the Dems will do the reverse. It's kind of like the Dems are like the daughter who only dates guys her parents hate. So if we actually said, you know what? Everybody should be trans. I think we should all have 16 pronouns. Then they would have probably embraced more traditional things, because none of their stuff is based on truth. It's based on reaction, identity, the instant gratification of status that they get from being seen as caring. It's kind of sad. They got to start seeing people as individuals and not as identities, because it's also this is one last thing, getting my thoughts together. They say that they want women to be strong, but they also want them to identify as victims. You can't have both.
Harold.
No, I listened to, I watched this video again and again, and I watched Ms. Gaines say what she said, and I wondered why Congresswoman AOC, who was very smart and capable, why she would respond that way. One of the things that Donald Trump did so well in the 24 campaign was he took an issue that less than 3% of the country had said in polling they were concerned about. I don't like polls, but just listening to this poll for a second, the LGBTQ issues, transgender issues, and he spent $250 million running ads saying that Democrats were for these things that overwhelming majority of the country was not for. What he did was he disqualified us. He disqualified our values. He disqualified our positions. And instead of talking about our positions, we're engaging them on an issue that is not a win for us. I give the president credit on this issue. I give him credit on closing the border. But Democrats, we can't swing at every pitch. You can't swing at everything in the strike zone. Be more like that guy Ohtani, who hit 2 home runs last night and got put on base 7 more times. The first time a guy had been on base 9 times in a race. He didn't swing at everything. If we want people to listen to us on how we want to fund rural hospitals, how we want to fund Obamacare to make sure those in this country who depend on it, 24 million, still get it. If we want people in this country to listen to us on what we're going to do when AI displaces millions of Americans with all the great efficiencies it brings, but we don't know where people are going to work, we've got to get right on these social issues. Don't swing at every pitch. Get back to the substance and the ideas.
Haley.
Yeah, that was quite a game last night. Really impressive. I don't know if you watched it till 2 a.m.
Did you stay up?
I did. No. Oh my
I
goodness.
fell asleep
No.
at 1.
Okay. Well, it was a good game. But you're exactly right. Exactly right. Your party has to sideline these social issues, because Kamala Harris's internal polling showed that ad that says, Kamala's for they, them, me, Donald Trump, I am for you, it moved the electorate by 2.7 percentage points. There is this piece that's so revealing. New York Times, swing voters, young swing voters who changed their mind, most of them voted for Trump. The most cited reasons for why they voted for Trump was either J.D. Vance's debate, they really liked that, and number 2, the trans issue. The trans issue comes up again and again, and I don't know why all of these women are so triggered by Riley Gaines. It's not just AOC, it's Simone Biles too. Riley Gaines is a rock star. She has given voice to millions of young female women and athletes like my sister, who got up early in the morning when it was still dark out in college and ran the 100-meter hurdles at a Division I school, SEC school like University of Florida. Riley Gaines gave voice to women like my sister, athletes across the country. And Simone Biles, AOC, I don't think you're an athlete, AOC, but you should be cheering her on nevertheless for fighting for other female athletes.
All right, and we just got word from Kudlow he will be hosting the hot tub after party.
That's amazing. That man is selfless.
He never stops working.
He really is.
He never stops working.
We'll be handing out medals. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.